The sun hung low in the sky, painting the streets of Brooksville in a warm, golden hue. As the last of the day's light slipped behind the buildings, the town took on a tranquil vibe. But not far from the local diner, the tensions simmered. Officer Tom Grayson leaned against his cruiser, arms crossed, surveying the scene with a scowl. He spotted a woman in a crisp navy suit walking briskly down the sidewalk. Her dark skin glistened in the fading sunlight, and her hair was styled neatly, exuding confidence. He straightened up, shifting his weight to one foot, the air around him thickening with disdain. "Hey, you!" Grayson shouted, his voice echoing against the brick walls of the nearby buildings. The woman paused, turning her head slightly, but didn't stop. "Yeah, you. What are you doing here?" "I'm on my way to a meeting," she called back, her tone clipped but unfaltering. "Meeting, huh? You sure you don't mean trouble?" He stepped forward, the crunch of gravel under his boots punctuating his approach. His partner, Officer Mills, leaned against the car, watching with a bemused smirk. The woman turned to face him fully, her dark eyes narrowing. "I assure you, officer, my meeting is quite legitimate. I have no intention of causing any trouble." "Legitimate? In this part of town?" Grayson laughed, a harsh, mocking sound that cut through the evening air. "What, you think you can just stroll through here like you own the place? Is that your way of saying you don't recognize me?" she asked, a hint of amusement in her voice. "I'm the FBI Chief Grayson." The words hung in the air, and for a moment, Grayson stood frozen, blinking as if he couldn't quite process what she had just said. Mills's smirk faded, replaced by a tense curiosity. "FBI Chief?" Grayson finally scoffed, though uncertainty flickered in his eyes. "Yeah, right. You expect me to believe that?" "Believe it or not, it doesn't change the fact that you're harassing me," she replied, stepping forward with an assertive grace. "I suggest you check your attitude before you embarrass yourself." "Listen, lady," he started, but she cut him off. "Why don't you do your job and run my name through your precious system?" Her voice was steady, her demeanor unwavering. "You'll find I'm not just some random woman in a suit." Grayson hesitated, glancing at Mills, who shrugged, his earlier bravado deflating. The officer turned back to her, his bravado wavering. "Fine, I'll check your name, but don't think I'll let you off easy just because you have some fancy title." "Do what you must," she said, crossing her arms with a challenge in her gaze. Grayson pulled out his radio, his fingers fumbling slightly as he struggled to maintain his composure. "Dispatch, run a check on a..." He paused, looking at her badge. "Naomi Richards. Make sure you add FBI Chief to that," she threw back, a smirk playing on her lips. The radio crackled to life, and the dispatcher's voice filled the air. "One moment, officer." As they waited, the tension crackled like static electricity, the sounds of the town fading into the background. Grayson's bravado began to melt away, beads of sweat forming at his brow. "Do you really think this is how you should be treating people?" Naomi asked, her tone shifting to a more serious note. "You're a cop. You're supposed to protect and serve, not intimidate." "Protect and serve?" Grayson echoed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You think you know how it is out here? You don't know a thing about my life, lady." Naomi raised an eyebrow, her confidence unwavering. "And you don't know a thing about mine. But I'm not here to play games, officer. I'm here to do my job." The radio squawked again. "Officer Grayson, we have a confirmation. Naomi Richards is indeed the FBI chief." Grayson felt his face flush with anger and embarrassment. "You're lying. This is some kind of joke." "No joke," the dispatcher replied, her voice steady. "She's been in the system for years." Grayson's jaw tightened and he turned to Naomi, his bravado crumbling. "So what? You think this changes anything? You're still just a woman in my town. I don't need to take orders from you." Naomi stepped closer, her voice low and steady. "No, you don't need to take orders from me. But you do need to respect the law. I'm here on official business, and I won't tolerate harassment from you or anyone else." He shook his head, the anger boiling inside him. "You think you can come in here and act like you own the place just because you wear a badge?" "Actually, I wear a different badge, but that's not the point." Her voice was calm, but the steel beneath it was unmistakable. "The point is, you're misusing your authority, and I can assure you, there will be consequences." Grayson's eyes bulged. "You think I'm scared of some bureaucratic bullshit? You think I'll lose sleep over your threats?" "You should be scared," she said, stepping closer, her gaze unyielding. Because I'm not just some bureaucrat. I'm the person who can bring the hammer down on you, and I will if you don't back off. The tension was palpable, a battle of wills that neither seemed willing to back down from. Tom, come on, let's just get back in the car, Mills interjected, his voice laced with caution, but Grayson waved him off. Shut up, Mills, this is between me and her. Is it? Naomi asked, crossing her arms, because it looks more like a tantrum than a confrontation. Grayson's face reddened with rage. You think you can come here and bully me? I've seen your kind before. Think you're better than everyone else? Better? She scoffed. This isn't about being better. This is about doing right, something you clearly don't understand. Grayson took a step back, the anger boiling in him. You think you can just waltz in here and tell me what to do? You're nothing to me. Wrong, she shot back, her voice firm. I'm everything you should be afraid of. I'm the one who will end your career if you keep this up. He scoffed, but doubt crept into his expression. You really think I'm scared of you? Not scared, no, she replied, her voice now a quiet thunder. But you should be concerned about the consequences of your actions. Mills shifted uncomfortably, glancing between the two. Tom, let's just... But Grayson wasn't listening. He stepped forward, fists clenched, ready to escalate things further. You think you're above me, huh? Just because you wear a suit and carry a badge? Naomi met his gaze, unflinching. I don't think I'm above you, Grayson, but I will not be intimidated by you. You're a bully hiding behind a badge, and I won't stand for it. Bully? His voice rose and he gestured wildly. You think I'm a bully? You're the one who thinks she can walk around here, acting all high and mighty. High and mighty? She repeated, incredulous. I'm just trying to do my job. You're the one making this personal. The radio crackled to life again, a new voice coming through. Officer Grayson, you're needed back at the precinct. We've got a situation. Grayson's face twisted in frustration. Can't you see I'm busy? You need to come back now, the dispatcher insisted. This is serious. Naomi took the opportunity to step forward. Maybe this is a sign for you to reconsider your choices, officer. He glared at her, anger still boiling beneath the surface, but the urgency in the dispatcher's voice hung in the air. Grayson clenched his fists, torn between his pride and the reality of the situation. Fine, he spat, turning away. But this isn't over. Perhaps it should be for your sake, Naomi replied, her voice calm and collected. As he retreated, Mills followed, casting one last look at Naomi. She stood tall, her presence unyielding, watching as the officers retreated to their cruiser. Are you okay? Mills asked once they were in the car, concern evident in his tone. Yeah, I'm fine, Grayson muttered, still fuming as he slammed the door shut. But that woman is the FBI chief, Mills interrupted. And you just made a huge mistake. Grayson's anger morphed into confusion. What do you mean? Do you even realize who you just messed with? Mills turned to him, his expression serious. She's not just some suit, she's got power, Tom. You could lose everything. Whatever, Grayson grumbled, but doubt flickered in his eyes. As they drove away, the weight of the encounter settled heavily on him, a storm brewing in his mind. Meanwhile, Naomi took a deep breath, the tension slowly dissipating. She straightened her jacket and adjusted her hair, knowing that this wasn't the end of the road. She had a job to do, a mission to fulfill, and she wouldn't let a small-town bully get in her way. As she walked down the street, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows behind her. She could feel the weight of the town's eyes on her, but she held her head high. The world was changing, and she intended to be at the forefront of that change. And as for Grayson, he would have to reckon with the consequences of his actions, whether he liked it or not. The stakes had never been higher, and Naomi was ready to ensure that justice would prevail, one way or another.